You're tuned in to the Burrage Sports Show.
Yo, what's up, everybody? It is the Burrage Sports Show. We are live in effect. It is Super Bowl weekend. I'm one of your hosts, Mike B, and I'm here with my son,
Mike Burr.
Mike Burr. You guys know the Super Bowl is February 7th, 5:30 p.m. Kansas City Chiefs, 16-2, playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 14-5. They are playing in Tampa Bay, Raymond James Stadium. So it's basically a home game for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Mike Burr, we have to chop it up about the Super Bowl. The first GOAT, Tom Brady, versus the second GOAT, Patrick Mahomes. Tom Brady is, trying to represent for the old school. His 10th time in the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes represents a new generation of talent. He's kind of, to me, like a Michael Jordan of football. He does things on a field we never saw before. So, Mike Burr, let's go right off the top. How do you feel about the game? Before we get into our predictions, just let's chop it up about the game a little bit.
Yeah, this is one of the most exciting Super Bowl, pre-Super Bowl weeks it's been, seeing, it's kind of like a sign of the times, like you said. You got Brady, he's been dominating the league for 20 years, and now you have Mahomes. He's the young up-and-comer coming into this league, setting the league on fire, already in his second Super Bowl. This is only, his third season as a starter?
Yeah.
So, absolutely on that same trajectory as the GOAT. And this is truly exciting. But this is the first question I've been kind of reflecting on. When you look at the early success in Mahomes' career, I want to know what percentage of the success goes to Patrick Mahomes and what percentage goes to the Chiefs organization.
I say 100% goes to Patrick Mahomes.
No, think about this, though. Before you commit to that answer, imagine if Mahomes goes to the Jets. Imagine if he went to the Bears. Imagine if he went to an organization like the Jaguars. Do you think he would still be setting the league on fire and as successful as he is right now?
See, no, I look at it. Let me flip it another way. Being from Chicago, we have had 35 quarterbacks in the last 25 years or more, and they've been awful. I don't care how good your organization is, how good your receivers are, your running back, your offensive coordinator, your defensive coordinator. If you don't have a quarterback, none of that matters. Now, don't get me wrong. Nobody does it alone. But the most important position in all of football is the QB. Because when you have bad quarterback play, it's kind of like a snowball effect on the team. The morale of the team, even when you have a good defense, the defense at the end of the year, they start tailing off. You have to have a QB that can transcend the game if you want to have a dynasty. Now, you can have a game manager for a season if you have a top defense. I think the Ravens did it one year. They had one of the top defenses. They just needed a quarterback to game manage.
Nick Foles.
They could run the football. Nick Foles got away with it in Philly. So you can have a game manager for a season. But when you talk about dynasty building, you have to have that Hall of Fame, can be a starter for 15 to 20-year quarterback. And that's what teams like the Bears and the Jets and all Jacksonville, all the different bottom feeders, that's what they're missing. They can never get the transcendent quarterback. And that's what Patrick Mahomes is.
100%. He's definitely transcendent. But them being in their second Super Bowl back-to-back, you say Mahomes is 100% of the credit, where you have the Chiefs organization, you have Andy Reid, one of the greatest offensive minds in the league. They drafted Kelsey. They drafted Tyreek Hill. Got a good offensive line. Got the Honey Badger in free agency. They've been putting moves together. They re-signed Frank Clark. They get 0% for putting a great team around them?
Well, I'm not saying in a literal sense 0%, but you throw in some of the worst quarterbacks in the league in that same situation, they're not the same football team.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, even the Honey Badger acquisition doesn't play out as well. Lil Sammy Watkins, all of a sudden, he's not lighting the field up because they throwing the ball over his head. Like, a quarterback can be a walking disaster. And it can have such a domino effect on the team. So that's why I say 100%. Again, I know in a literal sense, you don't do it by yourself. So I know you need all those pieces. But when you don't have that quarterback to bring it all together, it's a bad thing, man. And you just can't get that dynasty going. You can't get it rolling because just when you're in a tight game or you're doing well, then, oh, wow, interception, turnover, fumble. And we've seen that as a Bear fan. How many times have we seen that?
Yep.
Where the defense is playing great and we got a chance to win, then a fumble, or interception, a overthrown pass, and then people start to drop balls. And you have to have that quarterback to establish your franchise.
Yeah, that's a good point. I would definitely agree. You had the pieces, but the quarterback is the glue that actually makes it into something great like we're seeing right now. And it looks like we got a dynasty on the horizon. The Patriots dynasty seems like it's over. Brady left, and now he's back in the Super Bowl with Tampa Bay, which this is crazy. We've never seen a player make a transition like this and instantly have success once again.
Yeah, but that's what Brady does. He's showing that, who was it, Brady or Belichick? That was kind of what came first, the chicken or the egg, conversation. And obviously it's Brady, the chicken. You know what I'm saying? So, Belichick, with all his great coaching, if you don't have Tom Brady, I don't care how good a coach you are, but let a coach that's a decent coach get a Tom Brady, you're going to win. And he proved that, So I'm very excited to see the Super Bowl, man, because, if Brady wins, this will be his 7th Super Bowl victory.
Yeah, that, to me, if he wins this Super Bowl, he's already so far ahead in the GOAT conversation. But if he wins this Super Bowl, I just don't see how you can even compare him to anybody else. 7 Super Bowls, 10 tries, 20 seasons. That's an unparalleled career. And he has the opportunity to do that this Sunday. And but then on the other hand, you got Patrick Mahomes. If you beat Brady in the Super Bowl, you win back-to-back. This is only his 3rd season as a starter. And you got 2 Super Bowls. That's putting you on such a trajectory. You're already in the conversation.
I think so. I think he will already be in the conversation because he's so hungry, man. The guy, he just wants it, man. And he has that magic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That thing, whatever that thing is that makes a player great, Patrick Mahomes has it. Now, let me kind of go over some things, and I'll just kind of break it down so we can kind of continue our comparison here. I'm going to kind of go over their best season stats. Now, because I can't do career stats because we know Tom Brady has been in the league for 20 years, Pat 4 years or whatever. So it's not even comparable career stats at this point. Mm-hmm. But I'll do some of the best season stats. Touchdown passes. The most Tom Brady has ever had in a season was 2007. He had 50. Patrick Mahomes in 2018 threw for 50 touchdowns. Yep. The most passing yards Tom Brady ever had in a season was about 5,200. Patrick Mahomes, the most passing yards he ever had in a season, 2018 was about 5,000. So they both were in the 5,000 league. The best in terms of interceptions thrown, 1 year Tom Brady in 2008 had 0. 2017, Mahomes only had 1. Completion percentage, Tom Brady's best year, 2007. 68%, almost 68.9. So let's just say 69%. Patrick Mahomes this year, 2020, 66%. QB rating, Tom Brady's best year, 2007. He was 117. Patrick Mahomes' best year QB rating, 113. So as you can see, all these metrics, that make a quarterback great, they're right on each other when it comes to best season. Now, Brady's are a little more spread out. Patrick Mahomes has a tighter window, but when you take the best of them, they do the exact same things. And so that's why I think this Super Bowl is going to be so interesting, because you have two warriors out there that are just going to be out there slinging it around, and it's going to be a straight dogfight, I think, to the end.
Yeah. I think so, too. And, like you said, Mahomes already accomplished so much in his career. He's shown he's a franchise quarterback and is going to be one of the best. And Brady is the best. So having this matchup in the Super Bowl, you couldn't ask for a better matchup. And either way, this game could really go either way. Both teams are coming into this game hot. The defenses are rolling. We know what the offenses can do. Brady has a ton of weapons with Antonio Brown and Gronk and Mike Evans and Godwin. And then
Brady.
Yeah, and then
Brady
on the other end, you got Mahomes with Kelsey and Tyreek.
Right.
and Le'Veon Bell. They got Le'Veon Bell. They don't even use him. That's how good this offense is.
Yeah, they don't need him. Not right now. But you know what? They're not going to do it alone. It's some defense out there.
Yep.
The Bucks, we'll talk about their defense. Then we'll talk about KC's defense.
Okay.
Again, we're going to chop it up a little bit before we get into predictions. We're just going to kind of go through what things make them hot. Shaq Barrett and Jason Pierre-Paul, JPP, they combined for 17.5 sacks this season. They really get after it on the ends. And they're big game players. Yeah. They always seem to play better in the big games. Then you got Ndamukong Suh clogging up the middle. So that defensive line of the Bucks is formidable.
Yeah. And they like to get after it, too. They got Todd Bowles as a defensive coordinator. And they like to blitz. They like to apply pressure. And that's the formula for beating top quarterbacks. You got to keep them under constant pressure, and that's what they like to do.
Yeah. Got William Golston. He's on the line. Single high, three sacks. Then the inside linebacker, Devin White. He came into training camp and said he won at least 5 sacks. He got 9. So they got guys on that defensive end with the Bucks, on the defensive line and on that defense period. They can get after the QB. And they've been doing that in the playoffs. The defense have been impressive. They destroyed Drew Brees. He had a terrible game against them.
Yep. And that front seven, that box is strong. They do have a young secondary. Now the secondary is talented, but they are young. And against a veteran receiving core with a lot of stars, we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah. But I like that defense. And I like the way those guys get after it. Now, the Chiefs defense, you've been saying all year, you think the Chiefs defense is underrated.
Very underrated.
So, tell me how you feel about the Chiefs defense.
Well, when you look at this team, they got playmakers, right? And obviously they benefit a lot from having such a great offense on the other side of things, but they got a bunch of playmakers. When you look at Breland, you look at Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger. You look at Frank Clark. You look at Jones. Like, if you look at this roster, they're full of guys that if you make a mistake, they're going to capitalize on
True.
it. They're opportunistic, and that's exactly what you want on defense. They're not going to have a shutout. They're not going to keep you to 7 points. But if you aren't careful with the football, they'll take it away from you.
Yeah, L'Jarius Sneed is good. He's a cornerback.
Yep.
Carvarius Ward. And again, you already talked about Breland. So those are their 3 primary quarterbacks. And they're playmakers. They make big plays. And again, you don't always see it on the stat sheets with them, but they know how to play with a lead, and they know how to make timely plays on that defense. So they got some names on defense at KC too. So I think that's going to be a big part of this game. We're all talking about the offense. We're talking about, Mahomes. We're talking about Brady. But this game might come down to the defenses making the difference. Yeah,
it might as well. We've seen Brady threw 3 picks in that second half against the Packers. Mm-hmm. And this Chiefs defense is a little more opportunistic than even that defense. So you're right. It may very well come down to a big defensive play, and also you got to look at special teams.
Yeah.
You know, you got two dangerous returners. You got McCole Hardman, and you got I can't think of the other guy on the Bucks, but they have an opportunistic returner too. So it's not just about the high flying quarterbacks. It's not just about the offenses, but both of these teams are stacked, and that's why they're here.
Yeah. It's going to be fun, man. What about the running backs? You know the Chiefs, they want to go with the rookie, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. They want him healthy. You know, he had 803 rushing yards, 4 touchdowns. He can catch the football, almost 300 yards catching.
Yep.
They want him out there in the field. So the Bucks, what about the Bucks running back?
Well, yeah, you got Leonard Fournette. He's been dominant.
He's going to try to prove something. He's, you know, he got picked up by the Bucks and resurrected his career.
Yep. Yeah, he got cut. Ton of talent. He just had some injury issues, and this year he's been healthy. He's been playing well, especially in the postseason. And you still got Ronald Jones, who could start on almost any team, and he's their backup right now. So they're solid in the running game, and they have a great offensive line that creates big holes.
So we talking about a lot of different things. These are just two good teams, man.
Yeah, you could honestly say both of these teams deserve to be here. And when you look at both of their paths to the Super Bowl, the teams they had to beat, they proved it. You know, it was no walk in the park. This was one of the toughest seasons, you know, with everything going on. And like when you look at what the Bucks had to do to get here, they beat Green Bay.
In Green Bay.
They beat the Saints in New Orleans. Right? The Chiefs, they beat the Browns, who are hot. And so this is a dominant matchup here for both sides.
I think so. Now, for all our winners out there, all our wonderful subscribers, all the people out there listening to the podcast, because we're growing. We're up to 20 subscribers on YouTube. Don't sound like a lot, but it's a lot to us. We didn't have 20 a year ago, and it's growing. We check the metrics sometime. We have people in Europe. We want to hear from you. Tell us what you think is going to make this a great Super Bowl. What makes it hot? You know, we talked about the quarterbacks. We talked about the defense, the running backs, the special teams. We talked about the first GOAT, Tom Brady, the new GOAT, the baby GOAT, Patrick Mahomes. So we want to hear from our subscribers. Now, it's prediction time, Mike Burr. We made you guys wait a little bit, but now we want to, with all that talk, we chopped it up about both sides. Who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl and why, Mike Burr?
You know, this is a tough choice. You got the GOAT. You got the guy that's already won 6 of them versus the up-and-comer who's already won 1 in his short career and is back for another one. And, you know, this was a tough decision to make, but...
Come on, say it. Say it!
I don't bet against the GOAT. Bucks 34-28.
Mike all week kind of gave me hints that he was going to go with KC, but now that he's on air, he's going with the GOAT Tom Brady.
Yeah, I just can't bet against Tom Brady. He won 6 of them. He's showing you he's still on the top of his game. And until somebody knocks him off that hill, I'm going to vote for him every time.
Okay, all right. Mike, stand with the status quo. Going with the greatest of all time. That's not a bad pick. It ain't like you could be wrong. But I have to go with my main man, Patty Mahomes. And it's hard for me to go against Brady too. But again, I think Patty Mahomes just represents the future, represents a new era. And I just don't see how he could lose, man. When the Kansas City Chiefs have it clicking, they just look unstoppable.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, when they're clicking, they're hard to beat. And that's why a big part of this game, if the outcome is how I think it's gonna be, this defense is gonna have to show up just like they did against Aaron Rodgers, just like they did against Drew Brees. They're gonna have to play their best. They're gonna have to make plays, make turnovers. And Brady's going to have to do his thing. And you know he's going to have his guys motivated. You know he has the refs on his side.
Well, he's not in New England no more. He might not get them phantom calls and, oh my God, you touched his foot, throw the flag. That might not happen in Tampa Bay.
It's the same refs in every Super Bowl. I think they still have a relationship.
Well, maybe Mahomes is, he the guy making half a Billy. So, maybe the tide is turning. Maybe he's the golden child now. And maybe if you touch his foot, you get hit with the penalty. But April T, I don't want you to be quiet on this. Our super producer, April T, is on the ones and twos. I'm sorry, April. I didn't even shout you out at the beginning of the podcast, but I'm bringing in you now. Super producer, April T, on the ones and twos. Who do you like for the Super Bowl and why? Come on, get into this.
I'm going to have to go with Mike Burr and go with Brady.
Oh.
He's in Tampa Bay. And he has the experience over Mahomes. I think Mahomes could be a baby goat, but he's playing against the GOAT. So it's like LeBron playing against someone with potential.
Okay. But you know what's irony? Y'all young, right? Both of these are my children. April's my daughter. Mike's my son. They're the young generation. They going with the old dude, Brady. I'm old, and I'm going with Patty Mahomes. So that's ironic. All our winners out there, hit us up in the comments before the game if you can. Tell us who you going with and why. We want to know who you got. Do you have Brady? Do you have Mahomes? Do you have the Bucks? Do you have the Chiefs? And again, we know about the defense. We know about the running backs. We know about the special teams. We know about the coaches. But at the end of the day, everybody's going to talk about Brady versus Mahomes. So we definitely want to hear from you. April T, since you already out there in the mix, hit us with some hot takes, and we're going to come back to a little more Super Bowl conversation.
Okay, so to keep it on football, Deshaun Watson officially put in for a trade from Houston. And reporters are asking him, where would you like to go? He said, anywhere but Houston.
Wow. That is so sad, man.
No, it's not. Pick up the phone. Ryan Pace, Chicago Bears. Pick up the phone. Yeah. You should have drafted them anyway.
We should have drafted them anyway.
Make it right.
Make it right.
Put everybody on the table. Do what you got to do.
Yeah. But where do you think he might end up? Like, where would be the best fit from? Obviously, me. I think the Bears. I would love to see him with the Bears. But if not the Bears, I think he would be also maybe going to New Orleans. If they're going to lose Drew Brees, then I would go for Deshaun Watson. You go from Hall of Famer to a potential future Hall of Famer, and you keep that thing rolling. So that's why I would love to see him go to the Saints.
Yeah, that would be a great fit. And they got a great defense. They got great playmakers. Imagine Watson, Kamara, Michael Thomas.
Yeah.
Assuming they could keep all those guys, because that's the big question. We've never seen a situation where you have a franchise caliber quarterback before their prime. He's not even in his prime yet. How much is that worth? How many draft picks? How many players? But like you said, I think New Orleans would be a great fit. Another team, I don't want this to happen, but it would be the Vikings. They've been searching for a quarterback, and they have pretty much everything else.
That's true.
The Raiders.
Yeah, he would be much better than Kirk Cousins, man. You put him with those offensive players.
Yep,
that'd be scary.
The Raiders is another team.
Raiders would be good, but
they're in Vegas now.
They got a good young quarterback though with the Raiders.
But Derek Carr is not Deshaun Watson.
He not Deshaun Watson, but he ain't. He had a good year this year. He not a scrub though.
Yeah, but 8-8.
Yeah,
he's he puts up numbers. He's impressive, but it hasn't amounted to wins.
Yeah, I agree. And plus, he ain't Deshaun Watson.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and maybe even. Yeah, I don't know. It's a lot of good teams. The Colts are looking for a quarterback.
Yeah, Colts would be nice.
The Steelers.
Yeah. It's time for Roethlisberger to hang him up. He made $1 billion, and they started off hot. Then after that, it was a train wreck.
Really, every team that's not the Chiefs or the Bucks probably.
Yeah, maybe Green Bay. I would keep Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, but they're having some beef as well. So
Yeah.
who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Okay, Petit, what else you got on the ones and twos over there?
So Zach LaVine of the Chicago Bulls. Chicago Bulls are 8-11, by the way, this season. So a little better than the last few years at this point in the season. They're thinking, it's rumored that he may request a trade from the Bulls after this season. He'll be a free agent. And it's rumored that he may want to join the New York Knicks under Tom Thibodeau.
Yeah, he'll have one more year on his deal. So maybe, before he hits free agency, he might want to sign in. I know the Bulls, he's really the only marquee player we have. They're probably going to try to pony up with him. And I don't know if they're going to give him a max deal, but they got to try to give him something to keep him, or they have literally nobody worth watching on the team. And I say that in all due respect. They got some good young players, but not the star power. So you can't blame Zach LaVine. He's been a good soldier, no problems off the field, great teammate, and they just haven't put anything around him. Different coaches, not a good system. They didn't do anything to help him advance his career, quite frankly. And he's playing like an all-star this year. He's having a great season this year.
Yep.
So I don't blame him for demanding wanting to come out, because you can't say he's selfish, because he's been about as humble and about as meek a player with the Bulls as you can get with that horrible, stinky franchise right now.
Yeah, I'm not surprised either. It's pretty predictable. He's been struggling, or he hasn't been struggling. He's been hooping, but the franchise around him has been struggling for a while. And with a new front office, they may want to, get guys that they want. So this may be an opportunity to get some value if he's going to leave anyway in free agency.
And I love the Bulls. I'm not trying to hate. I don't mean that in a literal sense. They horrible and stinky. I mean their record, because I love the Bulls, a bunch of good guys. We're all from the Chi. We want the Bulls to win. We want the Bulls to be successful. But it's been a long, hard road the last 4 or 5 seasons. Yep. It just haven't been good football. Good basketball. I haven't even been watchable basketball, quite frankly. This year, though, they're showing a spark. Young players are coming. Billy Donovan is doing he's doing great things with that team. He has them playing with a lot of confidence, but you can't blame LaVine for wanting to get out of there.
Yeah.
What else, April T?
Yeah, so after that, what we have going back to NFL Super Bowl Sunday. NFL is going to allow 22,000 spectators in the stadium. And the players aren't allowed to show up to Tampa Bay. Well, I guess just the Chiefs at this point, to 2 days prior to the actual Super Bowl.
Because of COVID?
Because of COVID, yeah. So the real question is, who's going to mess up?
What do you mean?
So, the NFL players. It's always, an NFL player always does something a little silly. Can we see someone on the Chiefs or the Chiefs players, messing up with the COVID protocol before the Super Bowl?
That's an interesting question. I don't know the Chiefs to be like that. I don't know who a loose cannon would be on the Chiefs, so I really can't speak to it. As far as I know, they seem to be very disciplined, very put together, so I don't know them having that bad boy image. What about you, Mike Burr?
Yeah, same. I don't see that happening. You got 2 veteran coaches. You got Bruce Arians and Andy Reid. Brady's obviously a leader for the Bucs too. So I think they'll be disciplined, and I know both of these teams, they definitely want to win. So I don't see any of these players being that selfish before the biggest game of the year, because literally the next day you're in Florida anyway. You could party as much as you want.
Party like it's 1999.
So I think this week they'll be focused, and I think especially I think this would actually be more of a concern because because of the COVID protocols, you're not having all the media attention, the media day and all of that, where it's all the reporters and the paparazzi following you around. So I think it's less to get into, actually.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And I think they'll be more focused. So I don't see that happening.
Okay. April T, what else?
That's all I have.
All right. April T throwing down on the ones and twos. I got 2 Buck fans here. pulling with the great GOAT Tom Brady. I'm rolling with the young buck, the KC Chiefs. Again, we want to hear from all our winners out there. Hit us up in the comments. Come on our social media. Get out there and throw some stuff out there.
And join us live on Clubhouse. We'll be streaming the podcast live on Clubhouse, and with that, we'll also be taking fan input. We'll have like a fan conversation at the end of the show. So if hit us up on Clubhouse live Wednesdays at 8 p.m.
Yeah, Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Central. Yeah, after the show, which is usually our show's about 45 minutes. We're going to stay on for 15 minutes, and any other fans of the Burrage Sports Show that want to come on and just chop it up and give us your 2 cents. We definitely want to hear it and get into a little conversation. So please look out for that. Clubhouse is live and in effect, man. It's the new hot social media trend, man. Everybody's getting on it. So we like to be on the cutting edge, and we got right into it. Now, let's get back to the Super Bowl. So we know who we picked. Let's talk score. Mike Burr, April T. What you guys think the score is going to be of the game? We know who you picked. Holla at us.
I got the Bucks 42-38.
Oh, wow. So you think they're going to score some? It's going to be some fireworks, huh?
Yeah, I would imagine Brady versus Mahomes. I think they're going to put up some points. I think the defenses make plays, but it's going to be hard to keep both of these guys off the board, and they're gonna come out firing.
Okay, April T, give us a score prediction.
I think it's gonna go to the Chiefs. I think the score is gonna be.
Did you just switch live on air?
Well, are you picking the Chiefs now?
Oh wait,
what the heck is going on, man? Oh my goodness!
Sorry, I definitely just had a brain fart.
Wow.
Okay.
No, I'm going with the Bucks. Excuse me.
Okay.
And I think Brady is going to win, but I don't think it's going to be a high scoring game. I think it's going to be a little sloppy.
Okay.
So I think the score is going to be 21-13.
Okay.
Wow.
You're going low. Okay. Well, you guys know I'm rolling with the Chiefs, and I got to go. I think the Chiefs going to drop at least 35 on them. And I get a Bucks about 28. I go 35-28. Man, I thought April you coming over to my side. Coming over to the dark side.
I don't know why I said the Chiefs.
Yeah, I know. Maybe that's a little Freudian slip. Maybe deep down inside, you really want the Chiefs. Yeah. But it's hopefully it's a good game. I really think it's going to be a good game. Now I want to switch gears a little bit because we kind of talked about our Super Bowl coverage. I want to talk about the hottest game in sports the last week or so. The Brooklyn Nets versus the LA Clippers. And I know us fans all watched it. The Nets won 124-120. The game came down to the wire, and Kyrie Irving just showed out. But so did Kawhi. It was just a really good game. Yeah. And a lot of people think it might be an NBA Finals preview. What you think about that game, Mike Burr? Did you see that game?
Well, first of all, to the last thing you said, I mean, if you think that the other team is going to the finals,
other team in LA,
yeah, whatever. I don't know where they play, but but you know the Lakers are going to be in the finals. But it was a great game. That being said, and yeah, Kyrie Irving, man. I always say this: that people are lucky he's only 6'2".
Yeah,
because the things he could do at his height, he is almost unguardable in the offensive end. Mm-hmm. If he was 6'7", 6'9", it wouldn't even be a competition. He would be dropping 55 a night. He really took over that game at the end. James Harden got another triple-double.
True.
KD had 28 on 13 shots.
Yeah, very efficient game. Very efficient game for KD.
And this is what this team can do on offense. I mean, you got three of the best offensive players in the league. They just outscored the Clippers, who, even though you got Paul George and Kawhi, they're an average defensive team this year. They lost Montrezl Harrell, they lost Green, and they replaced them with Batum,
Ibaka,
and Leonard and Ibaka, who aren't, they just aren't as strong defensively. Maybe they'll turn it on in the playoffs. So, that's why you got the game 124-120. with the Nets coming out on top. And, this is going to be their recipe for success. They're going to have to outscore teams and take them the distance.
Yeah, I had the Clippers last year. I drank the Kool-Aid.
Womp.
When everybody jumped on the Clippers bandwagon. I'm not going to lie. I had my ticket and I took my ride. And they disappointed me against the Denver Nuggets. And I learned a lesson. The Clippers are going to be the Clippers. I will never, ever ride with the Clippers like that again. Because until they break that curse, they kind of like when the Cubs had that curse, they've never won a world championship. And I don't even think they've ever been to the Western Conference Finals in the history of their franchise.
They went. Oh no!
I don't think they've never made it to a Western Conference Finals. So I'm not rolling with the Clippers. They've been impressive this year, and they got they're 16-6. They got a great record, but I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid anymore. So it was an impressive game. The Nets did pull it out in the end, but I'm not sold on either one of these teams. I don't think the Clippers are going to win the West. I don't think Brooklyn's going to win the East. I don't think it was a championship preview. That's just my personal opinion on both these teams.
Yeah. I think the Clippers, until they move out of Staples Center, they're gonna start building their new stadium this summer. Until they move, I can't see them hanging a banner in the Staples Center. It's too much history. If LeBron keeps playing for 3 more seasons, there's no way they're gonna win a championship. Or even make it to one. I just don't see it. And the Nets, like I said, I'm kind of. I know I said I don't think they're going to win a championship or go to the finals, but they are moving that needle a little bit. I still think they won't make it out the East, but what they did to the Clippers was impressive.
It was,
and they can, if they can stay hot, they can outscore a lot of teams. But we just haven't seen them commit to defense yet.
But they got scored on, though. I mean, Cleveland lit them up before Atlanta. They're like 9-3 against the top teams. Yeah. But they have a terrible record against the bottom teams. So I got to admit, they get up for the top teams. But teams with losing records, they've been having a problem with that this year.
Yeah, that's not a good sign. If you want to be a championship team, you got to bring it every single night.
Yeah, they're 14-9, so they got a decent record. They're right in there. Not at the top, but they're not at the bottom certainly. But it was a great game. If you didn't see that, if you were a sports fan and you didn't see it, that game was worth watching the recap, watching the highlights, because they were going at it, and it came down to the stretch, and Kyrie Irving just put on a show, man. He showed he's one of the great ball handlers in NBA history.
I think he's the best. It's hard to. He does globetrotter moves in regulation basketball. I don't think we've ever seen a guy like that.
Yeah, I gotta agree. And he's a Hall of Famer, man. I think they got 3 future Hall of Famers in KD, James Harden, and I think Kyrie Irving's gonna get into the Hall, man, because the guy's just phenomenal.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, man. It's been a great show so far. We talked about the Super Bowl. We talked about the Nets and the Clippers. We talked about a lot of things. Mike Burr, you got anything else you want to chop it up about, man?
That's it. Make sure to tune in on Clubhouse. We'll be streaming 8 p.m. Central Time on Wednesday. Every single Wednesday. Tune in. That's all I got.
Yeah, so, and we're going to stay on. Like I say, once we sign off, we're going to stay on Clubhouse for another 15 minutes. So anybody want to come, chop it up, ask questions, give us your opinion, whatever you want to do, we're going to be there. April T's going to be there. Mike Burr's going to be there. Mike B's going to be there. It's going to be a lot of fun. But this was a good show, man. And I'm looking forward to this Super Bowl, man. But here's the big question. Do you have the day off? Because they say the least productive day in like corporate America is the day after the Super Bowl. So, Mike Burr, do you have a day off?
I'll be working. But I do see that.
On February 8th, that Monday, do you have a day off after the Super Bowl?
They might as well make it a national holiday at this point.
I'm telling you, man. What about you, April? Are you off?
No, I'm not off.
Yeah, I'm not either, man. I tried to take it off. When me and my wife was going over our vacation schedule, because she the boss, she kind of let them know the days I should take off and shouldn't. Man, I said, go get February 8th. That's the day after the Super Bowl. Womp, womp, already going. Somebody picked it. Somebody with more seniority got it before me. And I talked to the girl too, and she said, "Yeah, I'm going down to hang out, and we gonna get party for the Super Bowl and this and that." And I was like, "Oh, I tried to get it." But yeah, so hey, winners out there, do you had a day off after the Super Bowl that Monday? Are you off on February 8th? Hit us up in the comments and let us know if you got it off. And we need to start a poll or something, or we need to talk to our congressman. Yeah. Let's make it just a national holiday, man. I think it'll brighten up everybody's day. People all feel festive, all feel in love. Even if your team losing the Super Bowl, you're happy that they got there. I think we should make that a national holiday.
Yep, let's get it started.
All right. So, hey, it's been a great show. Glad you tuned in. We're going to stay on live after we sign out because we're going to be on Clubhouse. Waiting to talk, but you can catch us on all the social media platforms. Subscribe, like, share with a friend. Let us hear from you. Wonderful show. Wonderful Super Bowl coming up. We're going to have a lot more sports next week. We definitely going to be able to chop it up after the Super Bowl, see who was right, see who was wrong. And that's another one in the tank, y'all. Y'all got something else?
That's it.
April T?
That's it.
All right. And as we do it, Mike Burr, drop the beat.